The single type cup starts on Thursday. Yeah, I mean Thursday US time. It's Friday my time, but I'm from Australia. Anyway, I'm Fish from Pallet Town PvP. We are going to take a look at the basics of the single type cup in just 5 minutes. Now, this is just a basic look at the meta. We have a live streamed chat where we do a complete breakdown of these metas. We just look at all the Pokemon and all their different matchups. You can check out the link to this week's video in the description, or you can click up here. And we live stream that every Tuesday night at 8 PM Eastern time, Eastern US time, so make sure to join us for that. This week was with content creator Pogo Doms. In the meantime, here is your basics. And an important thing to point out with this meta is that normally it's very hard to categorize things into certain roles, because there's always Pokemon that are kind of defying those roles, fitting between the cracks, kind of placing themselves in those in-between spaces on the Venn diagram. I think it is no coincidence that being a single type cup, there is very little of that going on. Most of the typings that you can look at in this meta, they are like, there's not much that goes outside of those roles. So that's the first thing to talk about with this cup. The second thing is I can see, at least at the start, a kind of dual triangle format happening within the meta. So you can see up the top here, it's all controlled by not just fighting type Pokemon, but things with fighting moves. So Machamp, Vigoroth, Machoke, Wobbuffet, Haxorus, they're all fighters for the purposes of this meta. Registeel has the Focus Blast. You got Phalanx, not Dragonair, but then Shadow Pinsir, Surfetch'd, Lurantis, all fighting type moves. Then down here, double Hariyama, Hitmontop. So fighters are the kind of the starting point of the meta. There's two ways to beat the fighters, because there is literally no flyers in this meta. So there are two ways to beat the fighters, and that is with ghosts, which Coppergregus and Dusclops are your two primary options. I like Coppergregus more than Dusclops. And Fairy is your other one. And with Fairy, this is where you have kind of two divergent options, and they are Fairy Winders, such as your Florges and your Clefable, or Charmers, such as your Aromatisse, your Slurpuff, your Shadow Gramble, etc. So that's where there is a bit of a diversity within a certain role. Now, you got your fighters, you got your Fairy / Ghosts, and now this is where the triangle diverts, splits. I don't know what the right word is, because there are certain ways to beat the ghosts, and there are certain ways to beat the fairies. The ghosts are scared of there's one viable dark type, and that is Umbreon there. So Umbreon, a huge one, but then there's also the normal types, and not all normal types. So Vigoroth won't actually particularly like Coppergregus. Dubwool will be okay if it's got payback. Lickitung is fine. Miltank, not so much. Greedent, it is. Zangoose, yep, loves it. Coppergregus. Then with your fairies, you're basically relying on steel types to counter those. And there's one major one, which is Registeel. That's going to be on a lot of teams. But then there's also Berserker and Melmetal, which are great with an energy lead. Let's go a bit further out. There is another way of countering fairy types that I really like, and that is fire. Particularly Ninetales. Ninetales, I think, is going to be a fantastic generalist. It's really only scared of your dragons and your water types. There's not going to be, I don't think there'll be much water type around. There will be some Dragonair, and Dragonair is going to be a good pick. Remember that one. But other than that, Ninetales is going to be beating your steels and your fairies, and a lot of the fighters as well. You've got Dragonair, like I said, there's the dragons. Then you've got your poison types. Grimer, and Muck. They're your big four. Now, the reason I talk about these separately is because regular XL Grimer can actually beat Registeel with the newly buffed Mud Bomb, which the others can't. Now, the others do have advantages as well, but because we all rely on Registeel so much, I think that makes the regular Kanto Grimer a really good option. And then, as far as move types go, I am actually looking most at ground type moves. I think ground is going to be so important in this meta. Like, everything that we looked at that had a ground type move was really good. Meganium, Vigoroth with, you know, Bulldoze, which isn't a great move, but it provides some very important coverage for that. We've got, Meganium with Earthquake. We've got the Grimer with the Mud Bomb. Let's see. We've got Donphan with counter Body Slam Earthquake. I'm actually really liking particularly the Shadow Donphan as well. It doesn't have a good win rate on paper, but with 2 counters of energy, Shadow Donphan looking very good as well. So that is the single type cup meta in a nutshell. So make sure to check out the full complete breakdown in the description. Let us know if there's anything we've missed or what you're planning on running yourself, and good luck with your climb.